When the Yetzer Hara comes to attack you, the Gemara in Masechet Brachot says that first you should take a Sefer Torah, some type of book that you have, and start learning. The deeper the Torah, the better. So if you are already at a level where you're learning Gemara, open a Gemara anywhere and just start reading. If you're not at that level, you're at a level where you're reading Chumash only, no problem. Open the Chumash, start learning. If that's even too high for you, you don't even own a Chumash, no problem. Get another book. Get another book. Get a Mesilat Yesharim, some Musar book that you have. You don't have that either, then go on my app or go on the YouTube, type my name, first lecture that comes up, press play. Or just join our WhatsApp group. Text message 917-468-234. That's my personal number. Say, please add me to the WhatsApp group. I'm going to ask you a few questions to make sure you're not a missionary. Because many missionaries attack our groups. I'm going to ask you your beliefs because I don't know who you are. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You answer those 5 questions. I'm going to add you to the WhatsApp group. That WhatsApp group is simply a way for you to have a little bit of learning every day. Because every day we post different short clips, 5, 10, 15-minute clips, along with updates and these long shurim in that group, which pretty much means that all you need to do, you don't even need to go to YouTube or anywhere else. You just go to that WhatsApp, you go first, go to that group, press play on the first lecture you see. Don't think, oh, am I interested, not interested. You already have Yetzer Hara, it's not enough time. Just think of it as the Malach HaMavet right now has an axe on top of your neck. You let it keep going, eventually it's going to go through it. You're going to fall. So just press play on any, even if you saw it already. Just press play. Get your mind out of the dump as soon as possible. Treat it as if it's pikuach nefesh. As soon as you're thinking inappropriate thoughts, treat it as if it's pikuach nefesh, meaning a life risk, because it really is. Your neshama is at risk. If you're not going to my shiur or to some Sefer Torah, for sure you're going somewhere else. And it's not going to be a good place. So, press play as soon as possible. If you pressed play, you read the book, and it still didn't work, say Shema Yisrael out loud. Ask Hashem for mercy. Say the whole pasuk, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. You're allowed to say that pasuk as many times as you want. It's a pasuk in the Torah. Ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu for help. Ask him for mercy to soften your Yetzer Hara, to get the Yetzer Hara away. If that doesn't work, then go back to YouTube. Press Yaron Ruven. Gehenom. Press play. Why? It'll teach you about Gehenom. Once you learn about Gehenom, I promise you you're not going to want to sin ever again. Why? You're going to learn what happens, but don't go at the beginning. Beginning is a little boring in the beginning. I don't talk about the real details. Go straight to like an hour into it. Hour, 2 hours into it. Go straight. Fast forward 2 hours in. Or definitely after 2 hours, it gets really delicious. Go over there. I promise you you're not going to want to sin. You're not going to want to sin. But that's it, Rabotai. That's what the Gemara says. Think about the day you're going to die. Why? Once we think about the day we're going to die, we're going to see a Kadosh Baruch Hu, we're going to have to pay the bill for all these things, and who wants to sin anymore? That's the only way to get the Yetzer Hara out of your mind. It's the only way. It's this is the instruction from the Torah, but remember, the only reason the Yetzer Hara is attacking you as often as he's attacking you specifically with the issues of znut, immodesty, and things of that nature, is because you don't have enough Torah already in you. And the Rambam writes in Halacha in Ilchot Deot, he says the only person that sins, wasting seed and promiscuity, is simply somebody with an empty mind. What does it mean, empty mind? He learned a few things. He went to a few shurim. It doesn't literally mean it's zero. It means it's not enough. You don't learn enough Torah. Because if you learn enough Torah, you'd constantly be thinking about Torah. You'd constantly be thinking. Even though at work, you're working. You do your job. But you start looking at things based on how does it apply to Torah. Customer came. He forgot $20 on the shelf. Do I have to return it to him or do I not have to return? What does Torah say? Customer overpaid you. Can I return to him? No, return to him. The customer is immodest. Do I still service her or do I go somewhere else and let somebody else take the customer? Hey, the boss just paid you, but he underpaid you. Do I tell him something or do I not tell him something? You know, constantly, if you learn enough Torah, eventually, everything in your world, you connect to Torah. Everything in your world, you connect to Torah. Even if it's just a basic mundane job. Basic mundane job. There's a million different ways you connect everything to Torah. So the more Torah you have, the more full your mind is, the less time it has to sin. The more you're thinking about sinning, that means that you're missing Torah. And that's what the Rambam says. It's an empty mind. It's not an insult, it's a reality. And it's just an encouragement for us to learn Torah. Somebody actually sent me a question today. And he said, listen, I'm having all of these anxiety and, I'm constantly anxious about things and have all these different thoughts. What should I do? So,
In regards to
what should I do about these thoughts? He's having all types of thoughts about, imada stuff. And he's constantly anxious. He's worried about whether he's going to pass the medical exam. He's worried about whether he's going to get a job one day. He's worried about stuff constantly. People are just anxious sometimes. So he asked me, what should I do? What do you answer him, Noah?
First of all, emunah, just keep pushing through it. Second of all, just keep learning. Because the more you learn.
So you answered. You answered already the second one. So I asked the question. You answered already. I asked the question. You assumed that he learned. You assumed that he learned, right? Because he's asking Rabbi a question. That's assuming that he's learning the Rabbi stuff. Well, after you know enough people, you realize that the more they learn, the less questions they have usually. So what happens? So I ask, how much time do you learn Torah every day? He said, nothing. How do you expect not to be anxious, not to have these thoughts if you're not learning Torah? It's the only cure there is. You have to learn Torah every day. You have to start learning. He was a smart guy. He's learning for to be a doctor or something. Said, with a brain like that, you should be learning at least a couple hours a day. If that's too much for you to get started, then at least an hour a day, half hour in the morning, half hour at night. But you have to learn every day. So it was kind of hard for him to realize, I have to change. So he's like, maybe it's because I watch movies. So I said I should have asked 2 questions, not 1. So I said, not only can you learn more than an hour a day, but how do you expect to not have these inappropriate thoughts if you're watching Goal Nif, if you're watching disgusting stuff on the screen? Every single person on TV or the movie screen is immodest. How do you expect not to have filthy thoughts? How? What, do you think it just goes away? You're going to watch a movie, you're going to watch the news, you're going to watch stuff on the internet, on 100% you're going to have filthy, disgusting thoughts constantly. You're watching a movie, that is spiritual cancer. You're simply, instead of taking the chemo, you're taking the cancer. That's what you watch TV, you watch the news, all of these women that don't wear clothes, and they're the casters today. You watch the commercials on the sports, you watch sports, Hashem Yachem, you watch movies, Hashem Yachem. We're not even talking about the blue movies, that type of stuff. I'm talking about just regular movie. You watch any movie that's in the movie theater right now. 100% you're going to have filthy, disgusting thoughts in your head constantly. 100% you're never going to be able to do full tshuva. 100% you're never going to be able to stop wasting seed even. Why? How? How do you stop if you're constantly seeing somebody naked? How? How do you stop? What, you're a new human being? Yeah, that's it. Which means, as long as you're watching this filth, you're going to have that stuff in your mind. Which means you have to be strict. So not only do you benefit by preserving yourself and not watching it, but also now you also just found out that you have a lot more time than you thought. Instead of watching movies for 2-3 hours a day, now you can learn Torah for 2-3 hours a day. Without even changing your schedule. All you're doing is just, instead of wasting your time on a movie, you spend your time and invest it on learning Torah. So you actually have more time. So that's the key. The key is to know that if we really dissect our own situations, we'll realize that we could all do a little bit more. All of us could do a little bit more. All of us can improve a little bit more. No one is telling you that you need to stop everything right now and start learning 20 hours a day or 22 hours a day like the Gaon Mivilna. Okay? But you can still have a normal life. You can still work. You can still go to school. You can still do all the basic things you need to do. But you need to do it alongside learning the Torah. If you're going to do it alongside learning the Torah, everything you do will be blessed. If you don't, and the Torah is going to become secondary to you, then simply said, you're not going to have the blessing that you want. You're not going to be able to do the tshuva you need to do. And then you're going to come to me, at some future days, like, Rabbi, I just lost everything. Well, no. What do you mean you just lost everything? You've been losing. It's just that Hashem's signs are getting, worse and worse. So, tshuva is not something that takes overnight. It's something that you increase and improve on a day-to-day basis. But you have to be real with yourself. You have to know that there's certain things that you're going to do that are guaranteed failure. They're guaranteed spiritual cancer. All of these movies, these shows, these TV shows, these sports, all that stuff, it's all tuma. It's all impurity. You're going to continue watching it. Listen, it's your life. You choose to do whatever you want with your life, but you're guaranteed that you're going to continue damaging your soul. So even if you learn Torah while watching movies, meaning, okay, you have 2 hours a day, you learn Torah. You're learning even the Shas. But you spend 2 hours a day watching movies or sports or whatever, it's still not going to work. You're still going to end up sinning. Why? Because even though you have a lot of holiness, you're learning Gemara, you're eventually going to finish the Shas, everything. Problem is, you learn 2 hours. Pure Kedusha. Amazing. Just the best of the best. But then you put a bunch of feces on it. So yeah, there's Kedusha there. But it's disgusting. It's constant. It's full of disgusting stuff. Do you understand? That's the key. So yes, it's good to learn Torah. Chazaku Baruch for learning Torah, but don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. So you have to be strict with yourself. That's the only way. Anyone that tells you otherwise is simply lying to you, or they're just a sinner themselves, and they're not willing to do tshuva. Many of these rabbis that constantly talk about the sports and they say, oh yeah, did you guys see the game, all that stuff? That's not a rabbi. It's not a rabbi. You shouldn't even go to the kila. You shouldn't pray with him. Why? If he's watching sports, he's not a rabbi. That's what the Yevanim are doing. The Greeks are doing. The people that destroyed the Beit HaMikdash are doing. So again, to play sports is different than watching sports. You want to play sports for exercise during the week, no problem. As long as it's a modest setting and you're not with a bunch of cheerleaders or something like that, no problem. You want to exercise, no problem, you should even. But to go follow sports, spend your time and energy, all this stuff, seeing the cheerleaders, seeing all the immodesty, the commercials, all that stuff, you're simply ruining yourself. And you're not going to allow yourself to complete your tshuva.